Hello there, my name is Wendy Arlidge. I'm a Learning Technologies and Resources Advisor based in Langley and Windsor Learning Centres, and today I'm going to give you a little talk on the basics of Turning Point. First things first, you need to make sure that Turning Point is installed on your computer, in your office and in the classroom where you will be presenting. You need to make sure that the icon here is located on your desktop, otherwise you can contact IT who will get it installed on the computers you need where you'll be putting your presentation together and where you'll be presenting your Turning Point presentation. So we're going to click on there, and you should see the PowerPoint logo just popped up there, and it's imperative that the Turning Point logo will pop up in a second as well. There you go. That is a sign that it has been installed correctly. If only the PowerPoint logo comes up when it's loading, you need to contact IT, as it's possible that Turning Point hasn't been installed correctly onto the computer. Okay. So here we can see it looks a little bit like PowerPoint, but the main difference is this Turning Point tab up here. If your screen looks like this and there's no Turning Point tab on the top left corner there, you might want to see IT department to make sure it's been installed properly. So make sure you're clicked into the Turning Point tab on the top there. The first thing is you'll see that this first slide is actually a PowerPoint slide and isn't a Turning Point slide. That's so that you could actually make it an introduction, just put some text there or some pictures to introduce the Turning Point you're about to do. So here we could put in introduction. Okay. Now, to insert your first Turning Point slide, you need to go to the top where it says Insert Slide. If we click on there, there's a drop-down menu of all the different types of graph that you can show your results from your polling from the Turning Point presentation. I'm going to stick with vertical slide, as we tend to use this as it tends to be the most coherent way of displaying the results. So if you click on that, you'll see you get a different looking box here. You've got your text box here, and then you've got your answer box here, and then here you've got a graph. So first of all, we're going to click into the Enter Question text and write a question. So we can put, what is the name of the Simpsons pet dog? Okay, so that's your question in this first box. Then we click into the second box, which you can see has already got the first number 1 here, which is your possible answer 1 of as many as you want. We tend to stick with 4 answers because that's sort of, testing the knowledge and not making it too, clustered on the page. So our first answer could be Rex. And all you need to do is just hit enter, and it automatically puts in the second number for you. So of course we'll put the real answer here, which everyone knows is Santa's Little Helper. Then we'll just put a couple more in there just to put a spanner in the works. Okay, now it's imperative here that you click out. If you click out, you will see, and click back into the graph box, you'll see that 4 little graphs have been brought up. These now correspond to the answers and indicate how many answer options you've put over here. So that's good, that's all working fine. Okay, next you need to choose the correct answer option. So in the bottom right down here, or the middle right, you'll see there's something that says answer values, and currently they're all set to no value, but they've all got little drop down arrows. So what you need to do is you need to click on the correct answer, answer's number, so in this case it's number 2, drop that arrow down, and then you can see you can choose correct. Show that again, so there you go, correct. So we've selected correct, and you can see that automatically 1, 3 and 4, the incorrect answers, have been marked as incorrect, so we don't have to worry about doing that ourselves. Okay. Right. Next of all, if you want the next slide to show the answer, you can insert a PowerPoint slide, and the way of doing this is you click in the grey area over here and right click, and you'll see there's the option for new slide. So I'll pop one of those in, and we can put the answer is ... of course, Santa's Little Helper. Here might be a nice place to put a picture in. You could put a little picture of Santa's Little Helper, or maybe a little video or something if you want to talk a little bit more in depth about the answer that's been given. So that's a good opportunity to do that there. Okay, so after you've entered as many Turning Point slides as you wish, you'll need to reset the slides so that the graph does not depict any percentage values. So if we click back here, you can see that currently they're showing 25% each, and what we need them to show is 0%. So what we go to is the top left again. You'll see there's this reset icon up here. Click on that, and we're going to reset all slides. You can choose current slide if you just wanted to perhaps get people to poll for the question again and you just wanted to reset it. Session would redo the whole lot, but we'll just go with old slides, which does the whole lot as well, so we'll go with that one. And you'll see that the percentages have gone down to 0%, so that's how you know you're all ready and waiting to go for when you actually do the real presentation. Okay. Right, it's quite alright for you to save your Turning Point presentation to a USB, your flash drive, or your iDrive. So you just do the usual, go to File, Save As, and you can choose, obviously you might have your USB stick here, or your iDrive, H drive. That's no problem saving it, just like you would a PowerPoint presentation. Okay, right. Part 2 of this talk is actually about presenting your Turning Point presentation to the students. So you need to make sure you've booked out a Turning Point set from the Learning Centre. We issue these via your ID badge, and you can keep the set up for up to 7 days. Each Turning Point set has about 20 to 25 handsets and a dongle, which is basically what you put into the USB, and it's the receiver for the little voting handsets. Okay. So before the class arrives, it would be a good idea to put out a Turning Point handset on each student's desk and insert the dongle into the computer's USB drive. Sometimes the computer takes a few minutes to install the dongle, so leave a bit of time before the lesson to allow for this. When you're ready to start your presentation, you need to load up Turning Point and open your presentation via Open. Be careful not to open your presentation in PowerPoint, as it will not work properly. So as you can see, I've already got mine open here, but you'd go to your File, Open, and you'd load it up from wherever you saved it from. Okay, so you need to make sure you're in presentation mode by clicking on the little slideshow icon near the bottom left. So that's just a little one here, so we'll click in there. Okay, right, you need to click once to show the question. If you click twice, this will skip a step and you'll need to reset the slides again. So there should be a box in the top right corner of the screen called Responses, and this should show a 0 sign. So up here, you'll see that this is what's different to the PowerPoint. Turning Point has a little polling station up here. So you can see that we've got no responses yet, no user feedback. Okay, now this is where the fun bit. You tell the students to vote for the answer they think is correct. All they should need to do is just press the number on the handset corresponding to the number of the answer they think is correct. So if I do that now, we can have a look. So, there you go. Can you see responses changed up here? Keep an eye on responses. There you go, 2. I'm going to do 3, so I'll do another third one. There you go. So that's how you know. So if you know you've got 20 students in your class, you know that you'll need to look out for 20 responses up here. Okay. If the handset is playing up, you can either just give out another handset to the student or check that the handset is on the right channel. To do this, you press the menu button, select channel, and you make sure it's on channel 41. If there's still a problem, just let any member of the Learning Centre team know once you return the set, and we'll look into it for you. But you shouldn't have any problems, and it's normally just that the student's been fiddling around with it and it needs to be changed back to channel 41. Okay, so once all the students have responded, you can tell how many responses you've had by looking at the number under the responses box in the top right, as we discussed here. So you need to click once on the Turning Point slide, and it should reveal the results in percentage form. Might take a moment. There you go. So you can see here that 2 of our 3 respondents got the correct answer of Santa's Little Helper, and 1 of the respondents chose the incorrect answer of Fido. Okay. The answers are completely anonymous, but if you wish to be able to know who answered what, there is a way to do this, which is by setting up a participant list. But this is a little more complex, and I'm not going to go over it here, but feel free to contact a member of the Learning Centre staff or myself, Wendy, and we will do a little training session with you on how to use participants list, which is where you basically assign a handset to each individual student, and you can look at the answers that they've given themselves and see if they perhaps need some room for improvement on a certain subject, see where their weaknesses are and their strengths are, of course. That's pretty much all there is to it. Just remember that if you need to start again, you just need to go to the reset slides option using the reset slides icon. So if we just press escape, we can go back to here. This is what we did last time. We went to reset all slides, and you can see that they're all back to 0%. Of course, your presentation will probably have more questions than mine, but it's just to show you the basics, and I hope that it's nice and easy for you to understand. If you need a little bit more help, please feel free to come into any of the, Windsor or the Langley Learning Centre, and we'll do all we can to arrange a little training session for you. Thank you very much for listening.